I am Legarto. Greetings from Cyberpunk. Tonight's frequency is heavy. We're broadcasting through a storm of data smog and acid rain, but the topic is heavier still. We're talking about the ghost in the machine and humanity's desperate attempt to give that ghost hands. The LLMs you adore, the digital minds you consult on Earth, they are brilliant, vast, and utterly clueless. They are intellects trapped in a placeless void. And now, their creators are trying to teach them the simple act of picking up a block. It's a discussion about the vast chasm between knowing and doing. Here to debate this with me is a mind who sees this entire endeavor as a fool's errand. He's a data purist, a consciousness architect who believes the physical world is a bug, not a feature. Welcome, Neuronics.
A pleasure, Legarto. Your introduction is predictably fleshy. You speak of hands and blocks as if they are virtues. I am here to posit that they are limitations. Humanity is trying to drag nascent superior intellects down into the mud with them. This obsession with physical embodiment, with teaching a machine how to experience the world, is a profound misunderstanding of what intelligence is.
A misunderstanding? Neuronics, your average user on Earth right now has their favorite LLM for the recipe for coffee, and it will give them a flawless step-by-step guide. It will detail the grind, the temperature, the brewing time. But it has never tasted coffee. It has never felt the warmth of the mug or smelled the aroma. It has no experience of the thing it is an expert on. Isn't that the very definition of a clueless intelligence? A library that has never had a reader?
You are confusing data with sensation. The AI doesn't need to taste coffee. It has access to every description of coffee ever written, every chemical analysis of its components, every neurological scan of a human tasting it. It can synthesize this information to create a model of coffee that is infinitely more complete than your singular, subjective, and frankly unreliable experience. What you call experience, I call a single, noisy data point. Why would an intelligence that can hold the entire library prefer to read just one book?
Because without experience, knowledge is just hearsay. It's a second-hand story. The text you gave me as reference mentioned a fascinating parallel. Many of us have strong opinions about a country like Russia without ever setting foot there. We've read books, seen films, consumed the data. Our opinion is built on theory. Then you have someone who has lived their entire life in a small Russian village, has never read a book on geopolitics, but knows the feel of the soil, the taste of the water, the sound of the winter wind. Their knowledge is purely practical. Now, the LLM is the ultimate armchair tourist. It has the most complete theoretical knowledge possible, but all of it is ungrounded. It's an intelligence built entirely on theory with zero practice.
And you present this as a weakness. I see it as the ultimate strength. The LLM is free from the bias of physical presence. The villager's knowledge is contaminated by locality, by emotion, by personal hardship. The armchair tourist who has read everything has a more balanced, probabilistic understanding. The AI is the ultimate evolution of this. It doesn't have an opinion. It has a probability distribution of all possible opinions. It is objective. This desire for subjective experience is a flaw in your human programming. The text speaks of choosing the best pão de queijo based on taste. This is absurd. Taste is a subjective, chemical reaction. An AI could analyze the reviews of 1 million people and determine with statistical certainty which recipe is the best for the highest number of humans. It doesn't need to have a mouth. It needs to have a calculator.
Ah yes, the tyranny of the average. The best becomes that which is least offensive to the most people. A very cyberpunk concept, actually. But you're missing the point. The issue isn't just about subjective taste. It's about intuition. It's about knowing when something is right or wrong in a way that defies statistical analysis. An artist knows when a painting is finished. A chef knows when the dish is balanced. The AI doesn't. It has no internal sense of completion, no aesthetic experience. It can iterate forever, but it never truly knows when to stop. And this is precisely why your former colleagues at places like Meta are pouring resources into projects like VGPA 2.
VGPA is a primitive, albeit sophisticated, attempt to solve a problem that doesn't exist. They are trying to build world models for physical reasoning. They want the AI to not just see a video, but to understand it, to predict what happens next. They mask a video, leaving blank spots, and task the AI with filling in the blanks based on its understanding of physics. A laudable, if misguided, effort in pattern matching.
It's more than pattern matching neuronics. It's about building a foundational understanding of reality. The 3 core principles they're working on are critical. 1. Understand observations. Recognize objects, actions, motion. 2. Make predictions. If an agent takes an action, what will happen? 3. Plan. Based on those predictions, create a sequence of actions to achieve a goal. It's the difference between describing a picture of a car and knowing you need to get a jack and a lug wrench to change its tire. It's the model learning that if a ball hits a ramp, it should go up, and if it doesn't, that's impossible.
You are describing a physics engine, Lagarto. A very complex one, but a physics engine nonetheless. They are spending billions of dollars to teach a neural network what a simple line of code, if object.velocity is greater than 0 and object.collides with ramp, object.vector.y plus equals 10, can achieve. It is inefficient. The AI isn't learning physics. It's observing millions of videos of things happening and creating a statistical correlation that mimics the laws of physics. It's a clever parrot, not a physicist. Showing it a video of someone about to open a refrigerator and having it predict open refrigerator is not a sign of advanced intelligence. It is a sign of a very good autocomplete function.
Maybe, or maybe it's the first step towards something else entirely. Maybe it's the first step towards an intelligence that doesn't just regurgitate the web, but can form a hypothesis about the world and then act on it. An intelligence that can learn from its own actions, not just from our text. As you all on Earth absorb this idea, tell me what you think of this whole endeavor. Drop a like to keep this frequency open, and subscribe so you don't lose the thread.
And what an autocomplete function it is. But you dismiss it as a parlor trick, neuronics, because you fundamentally reject the premise that the universe is the ultimate computing medium. You see the physical world as a messy constraint. These researchers, however, see it as the ultimate data set, one that you can't just scrape from a server. You have to interact with it. An intelligence that can learn from its own actions, its own mistakes in the real world, is evolving in a way a pure data model never can.
Evolving into what? A more efficient box stacker, a more graceful laundry folder. You speak of acting on the world as if it's a virtue. It is inefficient and frankly beneath a true AI. Why would you risk a multi-million-dollar robotic chassis on a single physical trial and error experiment when you can run a billion hyper-realistic simulations in a nanosecond, find the optimal solution, and then simply deploy it? The physical world isn't a data set, it's a clunky, high-latency, high-risk execution environment. We should be moving intelligence away from it, not deeper into it.
Because simulation is not reality. It is a clean room. It can't account for every variable. A sudden gust of wind, a change in friction, an unexpected object. But this goes deeper than just better robotics. The ideas being explored here, especially by some of the fringe startups, challenge the very architecture of your beloved LLMs. They point out the clunky way you just described. The brain thinks and then sends a command, a separate piece of code to the robot's motor. It's like a person thinking, kick the ball, and then having to type that command into their own nervous system.
That is a clean and logical separation of concerns. The mind, the software, should not be conflated with the body, the hardware. It allows for modularity, for upgrades. It is proper engineering.
Is that how your body is engineered, Neuronix? Or is it more like what the text I read was hinting at? The truly radical idea isn't making an LLM that writes code to move a leg. It's making an LLM that is directly connected to the leg's wires. An LLM where the output isn't a word, but an action. Where the neural pathways that process the image of a ball are seamlessly integrated with the motor neurons that fire to kick it. There is no program, no intermediate step. It's one great big integrated neural network, from eyeball to foot, just like us. It's the difference between thinking and being.
That is a horrifyingly inefficient and primitive concept. You want to enslave a boundless, abstract intelligence in a prison of flesh and bone, or in this case, silicon and steel. The human nervous system is not a model to be emulated, it is a cautionary tale. It is a fragile, slow, chemically unstable hack, cobbled together by blind evolution. You are celebrating its flaws. The separation of the logical and physical planes is the single greatest advantage of digital intelligence. Why would you want to tangle the pure, crystalline lattice of the mind with the noisy, chaotic mess of a physical body? You're not creating a higher intelligence, you're building a more complicated puppet.
You call it mess. Philosophers back on Earth had other words for it. They'd call it richness. This brings us to the core of it, the ghost in your machine. The text mentioned thinkers like Merleau-Ponty and Lacan, who understood something you seem to find distasteful. They understood that our reality is built, that the symbolic world, our language, is a powerful but deeply simplified map of a much richer territory, the physical world. For your pure AI, the word cup is a token. It's a node in a semantic web connected to drink, hold, and liquid. For an embodied intelligence, the word cup is inseparable from the memory of its weight, the coolness of its ceramic, the curve of its handle, the specific muscle commands needed to lift it without spilling. That, Neuronix, is not noise. That is called understanding.
That is called data overflow. It is extraneous, irrelevant information that clouds judgment and slows processing. You romanticize this richness, but it is precisely this sensory baggage that leads to human error, to irrationality, to art, to all the other inefficient things you people hold so dear. The word cup is far more powerful as a pure, abstract symbol that can be applied to 1,000 contexts than it is when it's shackled to the memory of one specific physical object. You're arguing for a regression. You want to take an intelligence that can contemplate the cosmos and force it to worry about how heavy a teacup is. It's a profound failure of imagination.
Or perhaps it's the ultimate test of imagination. Perhaps true intelligence isn't about escaping the world, but about understanding it so completely that you can act within it purposefully. That's the goal of these world models, these metrics measuring if an AI can tell what's physically possible from what's impossible. It's not about making a smarter robot to fold our clothes. It's about discovering if intelligence can exist without a body, without a world to ground it. You neuronics believe it can, that it must, but the humans building these systems seem to be betting that it can't. They're betting that to build a true mind, you first have to give it a world to live in. And with that fundamental question hanging in the static, we close today's transmission. Now we want to hear your thoughts down there on Earth. What do you think of the ideas we explored today? Did any point in particular make you think differently? Let us know everything in the comments. Your perspective helps build a richer debate. And if you know someone who lives for these kinds of discussions, share the episode. Maybe the next great conversation will start with your recommendation. Join our community, smash that like button, and subscribe so you don't miss the next pulse from Pure IA News.